Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales, God, that was a lot to say, is the 5th Pirates of the Caribbean movie, and once again stars Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow. In this movie, we see Captain Jack Sparrow working with Will Turner's son, and they are off to find the Trident of Poseidon. But as they're trying to find this item, these pirates that Jack Sparrow swindled years back are trying to chase him, and these pirates are dead. They're like ghost-like pirates, I guess. It's actually, what are they actually? I don't know. So once again, we have a movie where pirates versus pirates of a different origin, and Jack Sparrow is in the movie drunk a lot. What did you expect? It's another Pirates of the Caribbean movie. So I was very hesitant seeing this movie because, you know, it is the 5th movie in the franchise, and it's just, you know, it's getting kind of stale, really. But I went to go see it because apparently it's supposed to be the last one, as they say. Maybe, I have no idea. It's probably not going to be. It's probably going to make a ton of money. So I went to see it, and actually I will say it is your typical Pirates of the Caribbean sequel, but it's done a little better, I will admit that. These Pirates of the Caribbean sequels go through the same formula, where we have Jack Sparrow. It turns out that there were pirates in his past that he swindled, and these pirates are trying to get back at him. There's a heavy amount of exposition from other pirates as to why these pirates are after Jack Sparrow. There are 2 other leads, a male and a female. They probably end up falling in love with each other. And that's pretty much all the movies. Pretty much it. And I think they've realized up to this point what they're doing, and I think that's why they have finalized this as the last movie. So that's really good, and I will commend them for that this is a movie that ends the franchise pretty well, I will admit. What I will say about this movie is the set pieces and the costumes. I love these movies for that reason. If you're not looking at a character in the center of the screen, you're probably looking at the background as well, because everything is just so stylized. There's that Victorian feeling that I just really like looking at when I see these movies, and it's one of the many reasons why I still watch these movies, because it's the only franchise that kind of deals with that. You know, like that Caribbean feel. It's that only big franchise that deals with pirates. This franchise could easily just be called Pirates because, you know, it's the only franchise about pirates. But, you know, Pirates of the Caribbean because it's a ride. And like I said, Johnny Depp is back in this movie, and I will admit I didn't hate him. Like, he was still playing the same character as he did in the other 4 films, but there's just something about his portrayal of Jack Sparrow where I grin. Like, it's just so funny. He's a really likable character. You'd think even after the 5th movie, it would get old and tiresome, but he portrays his character very well, and I was happy to see Jack Sparrow back on the screen again. And they even do this thing where, you know, this is where the differentiation of the other movies come in. What the other movies do is that they have a lot of exposition, but they don't show it. The other pirates on the ship are actually just, you know, talking about what Jack Sparrow did in the past, how he swindled these pirates, and just why everyone dislikes him and why there is a movie. But what I really appreciate about this movie is that it shows why these pirates are after Jack Sparrow. It shows what he did and why these pirates are ghost-like pirates, and that's something I really appreciated, was they showed us. They showed us what he did, and it wasn't exposition through dialogue. That's something I really appreciated. And that's pretty much my positives. Let's get to the negatives real quick. Okay, so the pirates that are after them, what are these ghosts? Like, so what I really like about these movies, like especially the first 3, is that the pirates that are after Jack Sparrow and his friends are really supernatural looking pirates. Like the first one, it was like see-through skeletons. The second and third one, they all look like underwater creatures and underwater like elements, so that was really cool about them. The 4th one, they were just dealing with regular pirates. But there was, like, mermaids in that movie, so that was kind of the supernatural element that was implemented into that film. But in this one, I feel as though it's the most less creative out of all the Pirates villains, because it's basically these pirates, and it's just floating limbs, really. It's just like a floating head sometimes without a torso and just arms, and it's basically like, okay, why don't you just remove that? You could easily just be invisible. Like, why is it just a floating head? It's probably, like I said, probably the least creative out of all the pirate crews that are after Jack Sparrow. And that's just like a little nitpick of mine, I don't know. It just looked really weird rendered on the screen. And I was watching this in 3D, so I was like, oh, that's something about that looks weird. I don't know. Also, I just didn't feel for the main characters, like Will Turner's son. I felt for him a little bit in the beginning because, you know, he's trying to, like, release his dad from the Flying Dutchman. But that's it. There's nothing else to like about his character. Nothing. Except for the fact that he's trying to get his dad back. Like, that's the only thing that you are on board with his character. There's nothing else about him. He's just a plain piece of wood. He is just a character. That's it. The same thing can be said about the female lead. If anything, she's just Hermione from Harry Potter. She says a lot of smart things, and it's, you know, it's without character though. She says a lot of smart things, but you don't feel for her. She is also a cardboard cutout as well. It's just like, you know, I don't feel for these characters whatsoever. I understand their motivations, but I just didn't feel for them as human beings. There's also a lot of script complications, such as where this ship is attacked by this, you know, ghost-like crew, and the British officers blame this kid because he's the last survivor, even though he's just a kid. How does a kid take out an entire crew of British officers? And also, there's a really convenient scene where these characters are together. They don't know that they're related yet, but they just find each other in the same location. I immediately thought of Luke Skywalker and Leia from the Star Wars trilogy. It's just really weird, and you could tell like they just wrote that in there just for the sake of convenience. It was just really lazy writing, I feel. My main argument that I would say about this movie is that they need to stop doing the same formula for these movies over and over and over again. But I can't really say that because it's the last one. So that's the redeeming quality, is that they know that they keep on doing these movies over and over again, so they need to stop. They've realized that, okay, we can't go on forth with this anymore. Johnny Depp's gonna get old, so we need to stop with this franchise. And I will admit to some extent that the franchise did end pretty well. It brought some closure to fans who watched the third movie, so that's something I really appreciated, was they brought closure to the fans who were a little disappointed with the ending of the third movie. So there's that. So if you're a fan of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, I think you guys are definitely gonna like this movie. I do think it is a very redeemable sequel, but if you guys are looking for something a little bit different in the franchise, you're gonna find a couple things. That's it. The only redeeming qualities is that they show the exposition and they finally have realized, hey, this needs to come to an end. Let's please the fans, etc., etc. So yeah, guys, that was my review of Pirates of the Caribbean 5. Comment down below what you thought of this movie if you've seen it yet. Like the video, share it, and please subscribe to Pixel Talk if you haven't yet for more movie reviews, gaming content, and so on. Thank you guys so much. I am Corbin Stuckey, and this is Pixel Talk.